A previous video in the playlist gave you this exercise. Find the factors of 18 using factor pairs. I'm going to do the same thing in this video, but I'm going to show you a slightly different technique for finding both factor pairs and the factors of the number 18. Let's consider the way forward. I'm going to take 18 and I'm going to divide it by 1. And you can see the result is 18. The ones being highlighted now are the factor pair. Now I'm going to write the factor pair at the bottom of the slide with quite a distance between them, as you can see I've done here. The next thing I'm going to do is to draw an arrow between the 1 and the 18 to emphasize that these two are in fact a factor pair. The next thing to do is to divide by 2, and you can see that gives us 9. So I can say that the 2 and the 9 are an example of a factor pair. So I'm going to place those near the bottom of the slide between the 1 and the 18, as you can see here. So I've got a factor pair within another factor pair. And so I don't lose track of what I'm doing, I'm going to draw an arrow between those two to emphasize that they are also a factor pair. I'm then going to divide the 18 by 3, and you can see the result is 6. And I'm now highlighting a factor pair. Now I'm going to place this factor pair below, between the 2 and the 9. So this factor pair will be nested within the 2 and the 9, which in turn is nested between the 1 and the 18. So you can see the 3 and the 6 coming down, and I'm showing where they are. I'm now going to draw an arrow between the 3 and the 6 to emphasize that they are also a factor pair. I'm going to bring the factor pairs at the top of the slide, and then I'm going to ask what goes in the position of the question mark. Are there any more factor pairs that will go in this position? Well, if there's anything, it's going to be 4 and 5, because 4 and 5 come after the 3 and come before the 6. So I'm going to take the 18 and divide it by the 4, and you can see the result is 4.5. Now, if the result is not a whole number, we know that the number that's doing the dividing is not a factor. So this 4 is not a factor. If it's not a factor, it cannot be part of a factor pair. So I'll now divide 18 by 5, and that gives me 3.6, which is not a whole number. Now that means that the 5 is not a factor, which means it cannot be part of a factor pair. So I'll remove the question mark and the calculations and be satisfied in the fact that there is nothing between the 3 and the 6, because I've just tested for it. Consequently, what you are looking at are the factors of 18. So I will take the factors and I'll put them together, as you can see here. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. Now what you would need to do to double check that this is correct is take the 18 divided by the 1, and you should get its factor pair. Divide it by 2 and you should get its factor pair, and so on. In other words, if you divide 18 by 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18 in turn, you should get a whole number, which tells you the list that you've got here are factors. And we've obtained the factors by finding the factor pairs. Therefore, we can say the factors of 18 are 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18.